the daughter of the Incredible Hulk that came from the future to kiss Norman Osborn. Who's Lyra? We're about to find out in this video. Start off, Lyra's first appearance is Hulk Raging Thunder, issue 1. So Lyra Walters, aka the Savage She-Hulk, is from the 23rd century of Earth 8009, and she is also the genetically engineered daughter of the Hulk and Thundra. How she was born is a bit unique, so I'm going to give you guys and girls a little context to what led to Lyra's birth and why she was born. So on Earth 8009, Norman Osborn was a person responsible for selling superhuman abilities and powers to anyone willing to pay a fair price for them. This caused chaos and turned the planet into a wasteland after an all-out superhuman conflict occurred. The population was split into factions. Thundra was the leader of the United Sisterhood Republic, and this union included all the women of that Earth due to a worldwide gender war between men and women. While the women had the United Sisterhood Republic, the men had different tribes, some of them even worshipping those they called overmen of the past, such as Wolverine or Sentry. That actually makes me think if some of the tribes of men worshipped other heroes or maybe even villains that they deem as overmen. Maybe Spider-Man, Captain America, Thor, hell, who knows, maybe even Dr. Doom. I wouldn't count him as a hero or villain though. You know what? Type or text in the comment section below whether you think Dr. Doom was more of a hero or a villain. I'd say he's more in between depending on the circumstances. So the United Sisterhood Republic were more civilized and had a capital city in Malago. Together they fought off attacks from many tribes of men, but worried they needed something more powerful to help aid their cause and survival. So Thundra was sent to Earth 616 after she decided that she needed an heir to help aid the United Sisterhood Republic. So she encountered the strongest man on Earth 616, which we all know is the Hulk. During their encounter, Thundra kissed Hulk and took some of his DNA with her back to her Earth. Using the technology they had, Thundra impregnated herself, which led to Lyra's birth. Thundra also made herself the first woman in 4 generations to get pregnant due to the men making themselves infertile from exposing themselves to radiation to get an edge over the women that gave themselves genetic enhancements to fight the men. During her early childhood, Lyra was always shunned from some of the other girls just because she had a father. Eventually, she inherited and took Thundra's place, gaining respect, and was considered the greatest warrior in the United Sisterhood Republic. But some of the other women still didn't like her due to her having a father, as every other woman throughout the last few generations were born through advanced technology. During an assault, Lyra discovered that the men tribes reproduced using the same technology the women used. A little boy soon appeared in front of her even though he wasn't a threat to Lyra, but she let the little boy live as she didn't want to end the lives of the children. She did blame her father for showing signs of compassion and mercy, and a huge problem occurred when the cradle, which are basically birthing chambers for the sisterhood, was malfunctioning and it was delivering stillborn babies. So Lyra was assigned a mission by the Gynosaur to help get the parts to repair the cradle. Plus, she was given an AI wristwatch named Boudica. The journey was rough as Lyra lost some of her followers on the way as they fought multiple tribes of men, but she was determined and she finally made it to the male birthing chambers. Lyra soon had second thoughts as she was concerned about causing the extinction of the male population, and in a surprise turn of events, but technically it wasn't a surprise to me as one of her followers turned against her. You can't have an origin story without a few twists or else it wouldn't be too interesting for the readers. So it was revealed that the ones that created Lyra wanted her dead so the sisterhood can be free of her masculinity. This led to Lyra protecting herself and it broke the parts required to rebuild the cradle. Lyra then confronted the Gynosaur, but she started experiencing a lot of pain all of a sudden as a failsafe activated within the cells in her body. The failsafe was programmed into her by the predecessors of the Sisterhood, just in case Lyra ever turned against them, triggering one of her weaknesses. The Gynosaur wanted Lyra to calm down and explain that she's the only woman that's not sterile, as she wasn't born through the cradle like the other women. She sent Lyra back to Earth 616 during the Dark Reign storyline to breed with the strongest hero. And it's funny that they say hero, but we're gonna get to that in a little bit. So Lyra was soon attacked by armored soldiers and Jennifer Walters, aka the original She-Hulk. She-Hulk mentioned Lyra's mother and this angered her. This ended up being one of her biggest downfalls in the fight between the two She-Hulks, as Lyra's strength decreased and she grew weaker the angrier she got, which is complete opposite compared to her father. Jennifer even noticed that herself as Lyra's punches grew weaker and weaker each time she tried to hit her. Lyra almost completely lost the fight if it wasn't for the Sentry coming in and throwing She-Hulk out of Manhattan all the way to New Jersey. Sentry heard Lyra was looking for the strongest hero, but Lyra said that he made a mistake and that she was looking for Norman Osborn. Crazy, right? So the Dark Avengers soon arrived on the scene, including Norman Osborn as Iron Patriot, Doc as Wolverine, Moonstone as Miss Marvel, Ares, Spider-Man, but not Peter Parker, let me get that straight, and it's actually Matt Gargan with the Venom symbiote who became the Dark Avengers version of Spider-Man. But that's besides the point. Bullseye as Hawkeye, and Norman as Captain Marvel were in that roster as well. So Lyra was soon defeated by the Dark Avengers and was captured. Boudica hacked into Hammer systems and freed Lyra. Norman Osborn was locked in a room with her, so Lyra kissed him. But Lyra had second thoughts, feeling disgusted, and she didn't want to go through and breed with him, to be honest. And I can't blame her at all. And you know what? I'm gonna say that for after this part. So she didn't want to breed with the man that destroyed her Earth in the first place. And okay, I'm gonna say, I ain't gonna lie, reading that panel was cringy as hell to me. Even like just regurgitating that, it was just cringy as hell to me at this point in time. I'm glad she has second thoughts. So Lyra ended up encountering the rest of the Dark Avengers and actually defeated some of them with ease using her gamma sight until She-Hulk came to her rescue and teleported away. Lyra thought she failed her mission, but Boudica let her know that it located the manufacturing facility where the parts for the cradle were produced and sent one of the factory's robots to bury it so it can be retrieved in the future. This completed Lyra's original mission, even though she technically abandoned it in the first place. This is so weird, as we know this Earth is 616, but in the future is Earth 8009. I keep trying to wrap my head around it because, you know, if we're talking about the future and time travel, Earth 616 is still going to be Earth 616 even if it's in the future. But maybe since it's an alternate timeline, that makes it Earth 8009. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you guys and girls see what I'm saying or not. We then head back to a glimpse of the future when the repair part was recovered by the Sisterhood. Gynosaur let Lyra stay in the present so she could live in peace and find her true purpose. Plus, director Little Sky, who the hell named these characters? Let me not get off topic. So Director Little Sky offered her a position at Armor instead of deporting her back to where she came from in exchange for Norman Osborn's secret files Boudica took. The first mission Lyra was assigned to involved her stopping Finmac Baram, who came from Earth 010111010 from taking over Earth 616. Try to wrap your heads around that Earth. So the Cyber Seed were banished from their world and thought they were going to just walk in and take over Earth 616. Lyra was there to stop them, and she got angry during the fight when the chrome droids of the Seed temporarily took control of Boudica. Then she had to quickly stand down when they had hostages too. Lyra agreed to their ways of combat and defeated Finn by tearing out his robotic heart with the help of her gamma sight ability. And don't worry if you guys or girls don't know what it is yet, I'll go more into detail about her gamma sight when we get to her powers and abilities. Later on, Jennifer was missing and couldn't help introduce Lyra to her new home. Lyra eventually started to get worried and asked Lil Sky to investigate and look into where she could be, but he wasn't interested in doing it at all. So Lyra disobeyed Little Sky's orders and went to investigate where Jennifer could be with Alexander Erd, who had a crush on her and even confessed his feelings by showing her making the first move and kissed her. Bold guy, I'll give him some props for that, which makes what's about to happen to him a waste. So Lyra and Alexander was quickly ambushed by Gamma Corp Black, that included 3 genetically enhanced women, led by General John Riker, who was taking orders from Norman Osborn. Each girl got their powers from 3 of the Hulk's greatest enemies, such as the Abomination, the Glob, and Zax. Axon had Zax's power, Aberration had the Abomination's power, and Morass had the Glob's power. The group wanted to capture Lyra so her organs could be dissected and studied. Plus, Norman Osborn wanted to get Boudica, mainly because Boudica stole his secret files from him. Axon took Alexander's life as if his luck wasn't bad enough as it is, with that piece of metal already stuck in his gut after they crash landed. She was like, nah, and lit his ass up. Well, at least he made a move on Lyra before he died. That's all I can say. So this angered Lyra, so she took out Morass first due to her drying herself out trying to reconstitute her body from the dry desert ground, leaving an Aberration and Axon left to fight. Lyra followed them, hoping they would tire themselves out running away from her. They soon stumbled upon a nearby town and tried to take hostages, hoping Lyra would surrender, but it didn't work out as Lyra didn't care at all. Lyra took out Aberration as the cells in her body was unstable and she mutated into something horrific. Axon was the only one left, but she still had hostages as leverage. Lyra remembered what Jennifer would do and that she would never let others be in harm's way, so she surrendered, letting Axon absorb her gamma powers. Then she ended up getting the upper hand as Axon was getting angry at her, triggering the weakness that comes along with Lyra's gamma powers. It's a smart move coming from Lyra. Just think about it if you guys and girls ever watched the old Justice League animated series, where in the episodes that Mazel first appeared, Batman had kryptonite which weakened the Mazel due to him absorbing Superman's powers beforehand. Looking back at that moment, Mazel was trying to brush off Batman until he pulled that kryptonite out of his utility belt and mentioned that what comes along with absorbing someone else's powers is that you not only get their abilities, but you also get their weaknesses that comes along with the package. Mazel wasn't talking anymore after that. That moment was a top tier Batman moment and it was so badass. So Lyra defeated Axon and got her gamma powers back. Axon quickly died as General Riker didn't forgive her for failing the mission and capturing her. And soon enough, a reunion between mother and daughter occurred where Lyra accidentally heard that Thundra was in the same timeline as her. She went after Thundra and attacked her, blaming her for how her life turned out with the sisterhood. But Thundra had the upper hand as she was more experienced than Lyra, and she didn't want to hear any more that could potentially ruin a future timeline. Lyra was knocked out and Thunder left believing she was a bad mother, but in reality, she saved Lyra's life by staying away from her and making sure Lyra still exists in the future, if that even works. After she got her ass whooped, the wizard met Lyra at a restaurant while she was in disguise and wasn't in her hulked out form. Wizard tried to talk to her into joining the Frightful Four due to Thundra rejecting his offer to join them. But the talk was short as she didn't want to talk anymore and she wanted a new life on Earth 616. Coming from Lyra's point of view, if they accept Jennifer Walters, they can accept her. So the wizard exposed her Hulk form to prove a point that it's not like how she think it is, to get accepted into society by others, which led to a fight between her and the rest of the Frightful Four. And let me just add that I can see what the wizard was getting at, but he's playing with fire as he's messing with a teenage girl that's also a Hulk. Not a good combination, but hey, what do I know? So by the time the fight ended, the wizard gave Lyra a couple days to think about the offer, and she ended up joining the Frightful Four, still hoping to find Jennifer. She aided them in fighting the Fantastic Four as she quickly defeated Johnny Storm and helped them capture Reed Richards. Lyra eventually found out that She-Hulk was being held in stasis in their helicarrier and almost freed her until Bruce Banner told her not to and to hold off on freeing her. Bruce wanted Lyra to stick to his plan and free She-Hulk when the time is right. When Bruce and the other heroes arrived, Lyra fought Scar trying to play it off, and Bruce blasted Lyra up a few floors during the battle, giving her an excuse to leave the scene and free She-Hulk. After Lyra freed Jennifer, she told her about her fight with Thundra, and we get this funny moment where Jennifer pretended she needed help, but ended up smacking the daylights out of Lyra for being a dumbass and risking her entire existence to fight her mother. Man, I freaking love these moments like these where there's a bit of comedy in a situation that's supposed to be serious. And I mean, if anyone should know about the consequences of time travel in that room, it should be Lyra. Like, come on now, that was a rookie mistake. Alright, the next part involves Red She-Hulk, and for those of you that watched my Red She-Hulk origin video, you may have noticed this part involving her is not in that video. I did that on purpose as it fits better into Lyra's origin as we were going over her side of what's going on during the Fall of the Hulk storyline. If you guys and girls haven't watched it, here's a link to the video on the top right corner of the screen to watch it. So both Lyra and Jennifer encountered Red She-Hulk, leading her to attack both of them. Jennifer tried convincing Red She-Hulk that she wasn't a bad person, and she doesn't have to listen to intelligentsia, but both of them ended up getting thrown out the helicarrier by her anyway. Lyra and Jennifer both landed in the middle of the battlefield, where there's a lot of hulked out soldiers surrounding the two of them. Both of the She-Hulks had to escape the hulked out soldiers, and while they hid out for a short time, Lyra left the recording for Thundra thanking her for everything she'd done for her as a mother, and that she finally realized why Thundra did what she did. Things got even worse for them as they encountered the hulked out superheroes such as The Thing and Wolverine until Red She-Hulk joined in the fight, admitted that she's not under the intelligence's control anymore, and the reason why she threw out Lyra and Jennifer in the first place was so MODOK won't capture them. Red She-Hulk teamed up with the other She-Hulks and they fought the rest of the hulked out soldiers together. After the Fall of the Hulk story ended, the Hulk family spent a bit of downtime together in Florida. Bruce asked Jennifer how Lyra was doing and wanted to spend a little bit of father-daughter time with her. But Lyra found out it was difficult to bond with her father, so Bruce thought it would be better to have She-Hulk watch over Lyra and be her guardian. So both the She-Hulks moved to an apartment in New York City. Lyra was given a serum to turn back and forth into her human form as she was attending Midtown High School under the name Lyra Walters. And if that name sounds familiar, it's the school Peter Parker attended to when he was younger. So Lyra and Jennifer had a cover story planned out, such as her being homeschooled in North Dakota, and she recently moved to New York City with her Aunt Jen. Bruce wanted his daughter to get an education and a life outside of being a She-Hulk. Jennifer agreed with Bruce, but Lyra was still needed in helping them round up the members of the intelligentsia that got away after the Fall of the Hulk storyline. The first member they captured was Trapster, who was caught cheating while he was gambling in a casino. While Jen and Lyra wait for Bruce to come up with something, Lyra wasn't doing too bad on the first day of school, but there's no high school without a bit of drama, so the other girls were talking about Lyra behind her back. The hockey team tried to flirt with her, but that failed of course, and she had to move to another lunch table where she met a boy named Jake Constantine. This made one of the other girls named Amelia jealous, and after Lyra's first day of school, both She-Hulks went after the wizard who bought a yacht and filled it with women in bathing suits. Bro, this guy trying to get it in as much as he can, but it didn't work out in his favor as he was stopped by Lyra and Jen. So back at Gamer Base, Hulk managed to get some info from the wizard on the next member, which was Red Ghost. During gym class after a dodgeball game, Lyra goes into the girls' locker room and turns into a Hulk form as she got pissed off and hated high school even more than before. Amelia saw and recorded Lyra turn into a Hulk form. Then she follows Lyra after Jennifer contacts her to meet up and help her take down Red Ghost, who is located in Russia. During the fight with Red Ghost and his apes, Jennifer is knocked away, leaving Lyra to fight by herself, and Amelia was hiding until one of the apes found her and she was saved by Jennifer. On the way back, Red Ghost woke up along with his apes and Lyra ejected Amelia from the ship. They were about to have a crash landed until Hulk caught the ship. Back at Gamma Base, Lyra and Amelia had a conversation. Lyra apologized for ejecting Amelia from the ship, while Amelia apologized too for getting Lyra in trouble after she found out her secret. This interaction ended up with Amelia wanting to be friends with Lyra and inviting her to the school dance. Lyra had to go shopping for a new dress with Jennifer right after that, and the next member on the list for runaway Intelligentsia members was Claw. So the She-Hulks arrived at Switzerland and broke into the base where the Mad Thinker was helping Claw get rid of his powers by transferring them into a creation named Bite. However, Lyra destroyed the machines before she knew where they were, and Claw's leftover energy caused an explosion. After Mad Thinker's base was destroyed, Claw and Bite attacked the She-Hulks, but ended up being defeated by them. Once the rest of the runaway members of the Intelligentsia were captured, Wizard escaped Gamma Base and eventually attacked Lyra at our school dance. Jake was caught in the crossfire trying to protect Lyra, and this exposed her identity as a Hulk to the entire school. She-Hulk came in to help Lyra defeat Wizard right before Wizard got the chance to finish her off, and Lyra was blamed for the entire situation and getting Jake hospitalized. Oh, and this bitch, Amelia, lied and pretended she didn't know Lyra was a Hulk. Damn, you know what? It's a good thing she revealed the true colors with her fake ass. Lyra doesn't need a friend like that. So after leaving the area, Jennifer tried to comfort her and let her know that the situation that she just went through sadly comes with being a Hulk. Lyra wasn't sure whether she should go back to school or not after that, which is completely understandable. Later on, during the Fear Itself event, Atuma had the power of the Worthy and attacked Namor in New Atlantis. Lois saved Namor and he asked Dr. Strange for help. Dr. Strange used a spell to get more heroes to help out, but since the spell was imperfect and she's related to the Hulk, Lyra was summoned instead. She soon became part of the Defenders, which include Dr. Strange, Namor, Loa, and Silver Surfer shortly joined in too. They fought off the Undying Ones and their leader called the Nameless One. Lyra also fought Tiger Shark, who was the host of the Nameless One, and helped defeat Atuma with the rest of the Defenders in order to help Namor save New Atlantis and prevent another threat to the rest of the world. More until when Bruce Banner got shot in the head and was given extremists help repair his brain, this caused the Hulk to get smarter and call himself Doc Green. Doc Green was hunting down living beings that had gamma radiation such as Red Hulk, A-Bomb, Scar, and Red She-Hulk. Lyra was no exception, but instead of giving her a serum to get rid of her gamma powers, Doc Green tried to send Lyra back to her Earth, but she was sent somewhere else that she didn't recognize, and it actually wasn't Doc Green's fault, but the AI that he made sent her to a different dimension. Sadly for me, that storyline where Doc Green's AI went rogue was never finished. I think I mentioned that in the Red She-Hulk origin video, but Lyra was soon saved by Doc Green's assistance. Now, I'm glad Lyra's story wasn't left off on a major cliffhanger, but this next little arc I admit was a bit weird as she became the empress of the dimension she was banished to, and she created a peaceful matriarchy. Lyra didn't want to go back home due to how much she's accomplished in that dimension, but her and Doc Green's assistants will come back to Earth 616 accidentally. Doc Green's assistants agreed to become Lyra's servants until they found a way for her to return to that dimension. The last appearance Lyra had was when she went to Weird World with Thundra after she recently left Squadron Supreme. She's currently not on Earth 616 for now, but besides all that, that's pretty much it for Lyra, so we're gonna move on to her powers and abilities. To start off, she got superhuman strength, enhanced stamina, endurance, durability, and speed. Actually, the more she's calm is the stronger she gets, which is the opposite of her father. She got pheromones that repels symbiotes, which is really useful. And of course, her final ability is her Gamma Sight that gives her the ability to see an enemy's weaknesses and increase her senses during combat. Moving on to nerd facts. So when she's at her angriest state, she can lift up to 10 tons at best, but when she's calm, she can lift around 100 tons. And Lyra spent a little time at Avengers Academy, but she barely had any dialogue, which is a waste in my opinion. That could have been a good ass opportunity for some character development. So moving on to personal thoughts, I actually do like Lyra as a character, but just like most characters in comics, the writers don't know how to use her or what to do with her, especially when there's more than one Hulk in the comics. I just hope Lyra and Jennifer will eventually meet each other again, maybe have a couple storylines where her and Scar are working together as siblings, or hell, have a miniseries where Hulk is fighting a threat with both of his kids. There's plenty of room and angles to go with characters like Lyra, and she's not as complicated to write like Hulk is due to her having limits unlike her father. There's so much potential material and storylines there. Maybe create a villain that came from Lyra's Earth and make him or her a big enough threat to the point Lyra needs the Hulk family to help her, or maybe she discovers a new power within herself that gives her much more character development on a deeper level and overcome that threat. Plus, it opens up even more potential storylines. And I know Hulk is popular, but you could bring in a new audience specifically teenage girls, to take a look into Lyra. There's so much material. You can't let the phrase daughter of Hulk or Hulk's daughter go to waste. That's just my take. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on what I just said, or maybe you guys and girls have different ideas on what Marvel could do with Lyra. I know she definitely has more potential stories that are yet to be told. It's not even my opinion, that's a fact. She hasn't been seen in over 6 years at this point. If her last appearance was truly the ending to her story, I guess that's alright. I don't know, I still got mixed feelings about that ending. But besides all that, if you guys are going to stuck this long into the video, I greatly appreciate it. You all are the best. If you found this video entertaining, educational, and helpful to you, be sure to leave a like, especially if you're a new viewer. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. If you want to support me even more, my links will be down in the description box below. And I'll see you guys and girls later. Peace.